Welcome back. There has been raging security problems all over the world in recent times, from Syria to Russia and Ukraine, from Afghanistan to Sudan and Nigeria. Now, some of these crises are tied to insurgency, which many think are linked to Al-Qaeda because of its methods and strategies. But what are the possible connections? Well, Dr. Lionel Rawlins, security coordinator of AUN, is here to discuss this with us. Nice to have you here. Good morning.
Hello, Sure.
Yes,
welcome back.
It has been quite a while since we've spent time together here on set.
I know. Where is that beautiful lady who sits?
Oh, well, she's on free time.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm not coming back until she says.
All right. I'll send you an invitation. I'll make sure it's her handwriting on it. Right, now we're looking at the link between Boko Haram and Al-Qaeda. Now, first of all, let's look at these two groups and where they actually, where they actually come from. I mean, the history of Al-Qaeda and all that. Who are the Al-Qaeda?
Well, the Al-Qaeda group, it was created by Osama bin Laden, as everyone knows. And they were formed as a reaction to the Western world and to the corruption and what was taking place in the governments in Arabia.
Yes.
And then, well, not just Arabia, but in the Islamic world. And then it progressed from there to the Western world. And people only heard of them after the 9/11 attack.
Yeah, that's when they did their big...
Right.
Yeah, their big...
That is when everybody knew of them. But they were there training and festering and getting big. And people actually, governments actually ignored them. And the end result was they destroyed New York City. And as we know, we all know how the Boko Haram group came about.
Kind of the same way.
Kind of the same way.
Ignored in the beginning and not paid much attention until they festered.
And this is the end result, because they were literally ignored. And at first, I thought it was a joke. You remember, too, it's the same thing that happened with Hitler in World War II. Yeah. Everyone thought Hitler was a short little man who, you know, he would stop here, he would stop soon, and then in the end, it took the entire world to stop him.
Yeah.
It took about 20 different countries to stop one country, one man. So, you know, we never learn from history, so it's exactly what is happening today.
It just keeps repeating itself.
It keeps repeating itself. So, what happened is, we know that it is a known fact that somewhere along the way in 2002, that Osama bin Laden sent someone here to give money to some groups of people in Nigeria. And the Boko Haram group was one of them.
There were many other groups. Boko Haram was not alone.
There were several different groups.
So these are like subgroups from
subgroups. Well, I'm sure what he was planning was that he knew that some would fail and some would succeed. Okay. But you wouldn't know who will fail and who will succeed until they start doing what they're supposed to do. And it's obvious that Boko Haram has emerged as a successful group out of all of them.
Very successful.
And, and very bad and very dangerous, and have shown the world that they are relevant.
Yes.
And so hence the connection between, that's the beginning of the connection between Al-Qaeda and the Boko Haram group, because Osama bin Laden initiated that funding, the initial funding. I think they said it was $3 million, not naira, but dollars, that was distributed amongst all the different factions and groups. Wow. And Boko Haram is the one that essentially benefited or took the money and became more successful than all of the others.
Well, they used their allowance as well.
They did. They went to school. By the way, and they also went to school, and not in a funny way, but they did go to school, because they've been training very well in Syria. They've been training in Somalia, in Iraq, in Iran, all over. They've gone to train.
Yes, actually, most say that the training, the kind of training that they've received, these militant Boko Haram groups, are actually more intense and more, you know, how would I put it, those military words that they would use, sophisticated training, much more sophisticated training than the Nigerian army training. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if that is so true, because you know, the terrorists could only do so much. And the thing is to strike in the dark, strike suddenly, strike without warning, and do those things. And anyone can do that. You and I can go blow up a school tomorrow if we wanted to. Because, you know, all we have to do is plan it and carry it out. It's the people who are defending the country or the towns or the cities. You don't know where the next attack is coming from.
Yeah.
And you can't protect everywhere. So, but if a terrorist, all he has to do is go to a village right now out in town, somewhere, and blow it up and kill people. And then they blame it on the military. Why?
Yes.
But you can't be everywhere. So, but yes, though, their training is sophisticated, and they also were involved in the fighting in Mali. So they went there to help fight, and they were able to then gain some experience and some knowledge while fighting the French in Mali. They also were helping the Al-Shabaab in Somalia, which give them that kind of experience again and training.
Yes.
And they bring it right back here. So, and then they learn to make sophisticated bombs, how to use sophisticated weaponry. And then they also bring in people to help them, because we know for a fact that when people have heard different twangs, different languages spoken that are not Kanuri or Hausa or Fulfulde,
yes.
they're hearing some foreign languages spoken amongst the insurgencies, the insurgents when they attack.
Yes.
So they know for a fact that if these people are speaking French or Spanish or some other foreign language, that they're non-Nigerian.
Yes.
So it shows that they're getting help from other people.
Well, they are getting definite backup from somewhere. You mentioned that their first funds or their funding was basically from the Al-Qaeda, from
Al-Qaeda sourced funding from Osama bin Laden.
But some others say, well, that their funding could be a political thing, that some of the funds could be from some Nigerians with a lot of money, or some politicians and all that are trying to cause some confusion around for, you know, politics.
That's what I heard too. And I believe it might have started out that way, but I don't believe it is that way anymore, because even if you were a politician and you were involved with Boko Haram and you were supporting them and giving them money and funding and different things, giving them information, I think they would have backed off by now and said, leave me out of this. I don't want to be involved
Yeah, it's
anymore.
a little too much for me to
It's
handle.
too much now, because I'll tell you, if anyone is supporting those insurgency groups right now and their name came up and can be proven, they'll be treated as terrorists,
yes.
and they will be destroyed, because then, you know, it's like hunting bin Laden and bin Laden supporters.
Yes.
So if any politician is actively involved, and I heard that there's some military commanders and officers, high-ranking officers. I've heard that, just like everybody has, but I don't know if it's true. If it's true, that would be very sad that we would have such trust that was destroyed. And if it's true, then you're making your comrades in arms look really bad. And then you lose it, you're making your country in the end look really bad. So I hope it is not true in the end. But if it's true, then I'm sure that these people are going to be punished in very severely and in a manner that's worthy of the supporter of a terrorist.
Yes, definitely, because it has become something, it's global, very much global now. I mean, it's gotten so much attention from the international community, and I mean, it's gotten support now, something that actually should have happened a little earlier, but was kind of delayed. But now looking at the connection between Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram. There's a time, or I mean, we've heard Al-Qaeda actually, may not be 100% true, but you know, we've heard talks here and there that Al-Qaeda have at a point actually denied having anything to do with Boko Haram. Being more specific, after the abduction of the over 200 schoolgirls.
Well, if you were Al-Qaeda, you would remove yourself from that too, because it's it is such a terrible thing to do that even Al-Qaeda, though Al-Qaeda's killed a lot of people, Al-Qaeda usually don't go around and kill innocent children.
Okay.
And for them to associate themselves with the Boko Haram group is to say, I support this. And they don't want to be seen as that callous and that violent without reason.
Without a right.
And so they want to remove themselves. Also, because the international community is involved, Al-Qaeda, you know, most terrorists want to do their stuff. You know, you do your damage and you lay low.
Yes.
And you don't want to get anybody following you.
To cover up the tracks.
Exactly.
Right.
But here now, if you are associated with Boko Haram and if it is felt that Al-Qaeda was supporting them in this venture with capturing the girls, then they know that the international community will be looking for them. And one thing all terrorists are afraid of is the drones.
Drones, yes, those are some new, that's a new type of technology that's actually putting...
You never know, you'll be walking or driving, going somewhere, you never know if there's a bomb pointed at that car.
Exactly.
And you should be afraid of them too, because they're very dangerous weapons.
I know I'm not a terrorist, but I'm afraid of drones myself. Believe me, it's not something you would want following you around. But still, we'll still get into the connection between and why or how Al-Qaeda would deny the Boko Haram group after that Chibok incident. But we'll take a break. First of all, when we come back, we'll continue on that. You're watching Safiya Breakfast Show. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Safiya Breakfast Show, and we're discussing the possible link between Boko Haram and Al-Qaeda with Lionel Rawlins, Security Coordinator of AUN. Now, we stopped off at the Chibok incident, the girls, where Al-Qaeda denied they had no association with Boko Haram at that time, and actually, this brings up another question, I mean, or another thing to think about. It means that these insurgents, Boko Haram, do not then always take direct orders from Al-Qaeda. Are they doing their own thing? Or, I mean, is Al-Qaeda ordering them, bomb this place, do this, do that? They've got their own agenda?
No, they have their own agenda. Now, Boko Haram doesn't have any problem with Nigeria, you know. Not Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda doesn't have any problem with Nigeria, per se. So I do not see Al-Qaeda coming and telling them to blow up this building or capture these girls, because it's none of their business. It is Boko Haram's business because they're from Nigeria and they want to do whatever the reasons for doing what they're doing it here. However, they do support each other, and if Al-Qaeda needs help, like they did in Mali, they will go to Boko Haram and ask for some help, and they will send men and fighters or even arms if they need it. And it's one of the things they do. It's one of those underground agencies where they help each other and support each other. They may even deny each other for no reason at all, too, because that's what criminal enterprises do. You know, no, I don't know him. No, I don't know those people. I heard of them, but we are not in any relationship. It's a part of the denial thing that criminals do.
Yes.
And because it just throws some confusion and chaos into people's thinking. If you say, if Boko Haram say, no, I don't know anyone from Al Qaeda, but they do not take orders per se from each other, or they do not take orders from Al Qaeda. They have their own agenda, but they do go out and help each other.
Okay.
And in helping each other, they know that if Boko Haram needs help here, they can call upon Al Qaeda, because
yes.
then Al Qaeda will come. Because when Al Qaeda wants them, they will
Let's
go.
call them too. Yes.
And so that's the relationship that they have. It's a fundamentally sound relationship in killing people.
Yeah, it's more of a kind of. I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's the same thing business people do. You know, it's Shell Oil, Conoco, Con Oil. They all, you know, they all do their own little damage, but they all come together as one.
Yes.
To rip off the populace, so to speak.
Yes.
It's the same thing the terrorist groups do. Same thing the drug lords do.
Yeah.
They come together. They have their own turf and they have their own things going on, and when things get rough, they'll come together to support each other. Then back off into their own little territories. That's the same thing you're seeing right now.
Well, talking about Al Qaeda, believing in Boko Haram to come and support them and all that. This means they actually believe that Boko Haram has a very, very sound or sound enough strategy and training and skill. Very skillful they are. We could say they're very skillful because they've actually been able to evade the Nigerian military and authorities for such a long time. And so where do they get such skills from?
Well, the more you do it, the better you become. And they've been doing it for a long time. And, well, they learn it from going to Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb and in Somalia with Al-Shabaab, and they've been trained, and so they know what to do. But then when you put it into action, the more you do it, the better you become. Experienced and knowledgeable and skillful. And that is what we see happening right now with the Boko Haram group and other insurgencies, why they're being unable to be captured or why they're able to evade being captured, because they know what to do and how to do it. And one of the things that they do is they pay attention. All they have to do is to watch and look and plan and then strike. So they know what places are vulnerable, so they go there. They don't just get up one night and decide to go and attack a village. They've already planned it.
So these guys aren't just blockhead insurgents that just want to cause havoc. They actually plan and strategize every move of theirs.
It's already planned and strategized, and then it's carried out. And in many cases, they've sent messages, whether subtle messages or blatantly open messages, that they're going to do this. And the authorities have not been able to pick up the clue and to protect whatever it is they were to protect, because sometimes it's vague. If, for example, they say, we are going to attack Yola tomorrow. Now, Yola is big, so where do you protect?
Yola, yes.
You know, you may protect all the big institutions and everything else, and then they blow up a church. A simple
So
little
strategy
church.
Also.
Yes, so they know what to do, and they may say, we will do it, we'll be there on Wednesday. Watch
With
out.
even the date, time.
Exactly, but then they'll come on Tuesday.
Does Al Qaeda operate the same way? Do they send these notes and
That's
messages?
a part of their plan, yes. It is a part of their MO. And then the tactics that Boko Haram uses are the same tactics that Al Qaeda uses and Al-Shabaab uses. So they all use the same tactics. They all use the same modus operandi. They use the same weapons. their IEDs, their improvised explosive devices, their bombs that they make are the same. The same methods, the same fuses, the same fuselage, the same explosives. Everything is the same. The container is the same. So everything is, everybody, all of them are using it, it coming from one source. If they were doing it differently here, maybe they're doing their own thing. But since all of them are using it, we know it came from the Al-Qaeda group. So that's another dead giveaway that they are somehow associated with each other.
Okay.
And they work with each other.
Okay. Well, well, you mentioned earlier that these kind of groups, these terrorist groups, usually attack and then lay back for a while, to cover their tracks and all that. Attack, lay back. They don't want to. They're never constant, continuous like that. But well, Boko Haram have kind of gone into a different strategy. They've proven to be kind of constant, quite frequent in their attacks. I mean, they've done attacks for a full week before without stopping, and even continuously for a month. I mean, the longest I think we can remember that they've stopped was probably a month or so. Does this mean that they're deviating from Al-Qaeda and Al-Shabaab strategies?
That's a very good question. When Osama bin Laden was around, in the beginning, he did the same thing. He would go on TV and he would make these announcements. He would have AK-47 next to him, and he would show the world. But after things got heated and he realized the manhunt was on, if you notice, you never heard from him.
Yes.
He went on the ground. And then, now and again, Zawahiri, his second in command, will come and say something, but you don't hear much from him either, because they don't want to bring any attention to themselves. But your group here is going against all of that. You know, they're coming out and letting people know who we are. They're showing the pictures. They're showing the background, and people study. There are people watching those pictures and studying it, wondering where they are, where it was taken, when it was taken. There are people out there, there are experts who are looking at those videotapes and studying it.
But don't they know that? Were they not trained to know that the more they do this, I mean, the more the chances of them getting caught?
But sometimes they think, when you become so consumed with your power, you think you're really powerful. And power is one of those things, let's say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
So they've been emboldened to the point where they've become brazen. I mean, they do their stuff in broad daylight now, and quite openly. And heck, they even went after a military base in Maiduguri. So it tells you that they are serious. They really do think that they are invincible. And they should feel that way because they've been successful in everything they've done so far. But just like everything, everything will come to an end. It's either they're going to win or they're going to lose. But everything will come to an end at some point.
Okay, well, but now that the rest of the world is involved in this, it seems that the string for them is getting slimmer. And we all know that they will definitely be caught sooner or later with the support of, as you said, the Americans, the drones coming in. I believe there might be some drone activity.
Well, there's the international community. But what I am envisioning, well, I shouldn't say envisioning, what I believe is it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, because your insurgents, your Boko Haram groups, they're not going to go out that easily. They're going to show the world that
what they really made
what they're really made of. And if you brought, they want to show the world, you brought all these countries to stop me, and I'm still able to kill at will. I'm going to show you who's bad. Maybe they're even competing with Al-Qaeda, who knows, or the Taliban, or Al-Shabaab. But it's not going to get any better until something comes to an end. And it's going to get worse because they're going to do more damage, and there's going to be more killing until they finally stop, whenever that may be, or they may never be stopped. Because sometimes some groups just disappear and go underground. If they feel the pressure is getting too hot on them, they just go underground, and they'll stay underground for a year or two and then come back again when everybody's asleep and everybody has forgotten, because we tend to forget quite easily. But so these are things to think about. You know, you might not get rid of them. They may go underground. If they think the heat and the pressure is getting to them, they have enough